Here are 3 ways to ensure you're signing buyer representation agreements at the commissions you deserve. It's how I've been able to put thousands of dollars back into my agents' pockets as they have the confidence and ability to negotiate commissions and value that they're worth. The first step is knowing how to handle objections. If clients have never had to sign a buyer representation agreement, whether their state required it or not, they're gonna have questions about what this document means and why they have to sign it. Master the document. You have to know and be able to explain what your client is signing. If they just viewed properties with an agent who didn't require them to sign it, explain how that's really dangerous and how that's a reflection of how that agent runs their business. Maybe the last time they purchased a home, the commission that they paid their agent was maybe a half or a full % lower than what you are asking for. You have to be able to show your value and state that yes, commission is negotiable, but this is what my clients pay for my level of services. If you're phrasing your commission as a question, that's how your clients and potential clients are going to respond to it. If you're not confident in the value you bring to a transaction, head over to our channel and subscribe because we offer full trainings on how to work with buyers, how to guide them through the transaction seamlessly as possible. The second step is going to be lead with value. If you're asking your clients and potential clients to sign a document for 6 months right off the bat without showing what you can bring to the transaction, they're going to hesitate. I go through a full buyer strategy meeting that I offer complete training on. Comment buyer strategy meeting below and I can share that with you. It runs through each step of the transaction. It explains why it's important, how we can strengthen that term in an offer. And I also explain that this is a ton of information, and when we hit each step in the transaction, don't worry, we're gonna go through it all again. Even if your client only remembers 10% of this entire buyer strategy meeting, they're gonna walk away confident in your ability to explain each step of the transaction and how you're gonna bring value to each phase of the buying process. There are a few ways to get this document actually signed, and that's step 3. How do I get a signature on this paper? Virtually or in person. For a cold lead, it's a big ask to get them to sign a paper over the phone when they haven't met you yet and they don't know, like, or trust you. If you can schedule a buyer strategy meeting before a showing, that's amazing and the best case scenario. Zoom call or in person. If you have a showing scheduled for the next day and your schedule is absolutely full and you're unable to squeeze in a buyer strategy meeting before you're meeting these cold clients in person, show up with your buyer success guide. If you don't have one, comment buyer success guide and I can share a copy of our template with you that is fully customizable. Before you even open the door to the house, you can go through this buyer packet, or you can say, I have a ton of information. I just need this document signed before I'm able to open the door for you. If it's a call-in lead or just a cold lead in general, you show up at the property, those potential buyers are fully expecting to see that house today. Are they gonna get in their car and drive away because they have to sign an agreement? No, very unlikely. What you can do is have a representation agreement filled out just for that one particular property. You can explain that it's a legal requirement for you to have this signed in order for you to open the door to let them inside. You're standing at the door for a property. They're likely going to be comfortable moving forward once you explain what's within that document and why it's a legal requirement, so that they're protected, your insurance covers them, and that whatever you say between each other stays confidential. Once inside, you're able to go over a portion or all of the buyer success guide. You can choose to focus on an area if they mention a particular pain point that they have in the buying process. Go into detail, explain that step of the process and how you can improve upon it and strengthen that term in an offer. And then you're gonna schedule your next appointment before you leave that property. Right now, if they don't wanna offer on the property that you have a singular representation agreement for, your next step is gonna be scheduling that next appointment while you're in front of them. If you have a warm connection that is going to be a buyer and you're fairly confident that those people are going to be working with you, similar to a cold lead, you still want to get that representation agreement signed as soon as possible. Even if they're 6 months out from buying, your first step of the process should be, okay, there's just one document we need to get signed before I'm able to set up that MLS search for you and advise you in any way through this next phase of the process. If you give away all of your value before getting that signed, you're gonna have a much harder time backpedaling and explaining why you need the document signed if you're already actively working with and advising them. I'll phrase it as simply a part of the process. So the first step is gonna be getting this document signed so that I'm able to advise you and walk you through the first steps. I know you're not quite ready to be seeing houses in person. no problem. I'll be able to get you connected, get that pre-approval process started, and explain what the early stages are going to be looking like working together. If you don't get a representation agreement signed, you are at risk of that buyer moving on and working with somebody else. At the end of the day, we have confidence in our ability to leave with value, but I always like getting that representation agreement signed as soon as possible. If you'd like access to our full buyer strategy meeting training or our buyer success guide template, comment below, head over to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe. We have new real estate content weekly that's going to help you earn higher commissions and get more representation agreements signed.